I swung round to the entrance of the Grand Cathedral. I couldn't help but immediately tense for a fight. Not only me, even Hinata, Shion, and the others were surprised. It was only natural. After all, Demon Lord Leon, who wasn't supposed to be here, was standing right there. Under his white robe was a high-quality knight uniform and golden armor. As always, he was a real handsome dude, though he seemed to be in a terribly foul mood. Leon was not alone. Several knights were behind him. They all gave off a powerful aura. It looked like he only brought his lieutenants. What is he doing here? Is he a friend or foe? I figured that it was impossible for us to be on the same side, but I didn't want to make Leon an enemy at this point. You have come, Demon Lord Leon Dono. Also, Hinata, since you are looking away while fighting against me, you must have plenty of strength to spare. Wouldn't the one with strength to spare be Granbell? He wasn't fazed by what happened, yet he didn't take the chance to attack Hinata either. He looked all calm and casual. That said, even if he had taken advantage of the situation, the opening shown by Hinata might have only been a trap. At the high level they were dueling at, only an honorable win would be recognized. All in all, Granbell seemed to have known long ago that Leon would come. The suspicion was confirmed by the way he spoke. In other words, the two were on the same side. Don't act all familiar now, who are you? Oh yeah, this is our first time meeting. As a matter of fact, all the children you bought in the past were gathered by me. I must apologize to have troubled you to come here personally for the delivery this time. Maybe they weren't together. It looked like Leon and Granbell were just meeting for the first time. But it could have all been in Act 2. Now that they had mentioned it, most of the Otherworlders beaten by me were not adults yet. They were mostly kids around the age of middle schoolers. Could it be that Granbell was referring to? What are you talking about? I didn't come to see you. The reason I am here is... I summoned children with the technique you taught me. Are you going to claim you knew nothing of it? Don't you just want to fortify your forces with these unstable otherworld kids, and make them into spirit wielders? So you can build strengthened warriors like that Shizue? It almost felt like I'd been hit on the head with a stick. Hinata wasn't striking anymore either, but had her eyes glued on Granbell and Leon. Report. Danger detected. Suspicion that individual Granbell Rosso is trying to use rhetoric to turn Master and Demon Lord Leon against each other. I got the feeling too. No matter how you see it, it was a horrible move to antagonize Leon now. So I couldn't trust Granbell's words. With that being said, how many failures do you think I have sacrificed so you can summon who you want? The people here are the answer. Granbell finished. I could no longer ignore it now. Shizue-san was summoned by Leon and abandoned by him. Not only so, Leon seemed to have summoned other kids too. Such an evil deed could not go unpunished. Is all that true? Of course it's true, Demon Lord Rimuru. Where there is demand, there is supply. Us merchants were happy to provide. How infuriating. I wasn't asking you, Granbell. The suppliers should have a moral code too. To push all the responsibilities to the consumer is against my philosophy. But compared to that, I wanted to confirm something else. It was not just Shizue-san, but other children as well. Yes. Even when you knew that unstable children wouldn't survive for long. That. As Leon was about to say something, a thunderous laugh rang out at the scene, interrupting him. It was Granbell. Kukuku, kuhaha. How funny, Leon. Wasn't your request for us to provide otherworld children under the age of 10? As opposed to performing stable summonings of otherworlders and commanding that, why not rescue unstable children and do them a favor? And then manipulate them to make them your weapons, didn't you? These were incendiary words. Granbell's goal was obvious. He knew that I was soft-hearted and wanted to exploit that trait. In other words, he wanted to provoke my sense of justice and turn me against Leon. However, Granbell's words actually had very high credibility. For the spirits to possess the children, the summoned ones needed to be in the so-called unstable state Granbell mentioned. Is it really the reason? Is this why all Leon's subordinates are shrouded in the auras of spirits? Is this true? Yes. But I have my reason. Shut up. So this really was your doing? I shouted and went straight for Leon. I couldn't relinquish my anger without punching the guy in the face. Even knowing that it was Granbell's scheme, I couldn't dismiss my anger towards Leon. We'd talk about reasons later. I had to relieve some of my hatred first. And so, I used all my force to punch Leon. He didn't move. He stopped all his subordinates trying to protect him and looked straight into my eyes. Did that mean it'd be simple for him to take care of me? Or was it? My fist was rapidly closing in on Leon's face, faster than my accelerated thoughts could follow. Leon didn't even flinch. Subject displays no signs of evasion, brace for impact. There was no trap. The next second, my fist connected with Leon's right cheek. You got it out of your system now. I struck with my full force, yet it didn't cause a lot of damage to Leon. His lip seemed to be split as he wiped the blood from it with a handkerchief, yet he didn't move an inch. Tisk, even though I hadn't applied any skill with the strike, clearly, I underestimated Leon a bit. It was with that punch that I realized something. I felt that this guy, Demon Lord Leon, was a lot kinder than I expected. The proof was that he took the hit when he was completely unguarded, even though, by any reason, he didn't have to let me do it at all. There must have been reasons behind Leon's action. I'd decide whether I should forgive him later. During such chaotic circumstances, antagonizing Leon would undoubtedly be suicidal. This was no time to judge based on emotion. Leon wasn't on my side, nor was he the enemy. Knowing this, I gave my answer. Not enough. Even though I've conveyed Shizu's feelings, my feud with you hasn't been resolved yet. About that, we are gonna have a nice chat about it now. Now, did he get what I meant? Leon's eyebrow twitched slightly. By the looks of it, Leon was no fool either. Now I was reassured. Then let's have a nice chat about how to handle Granbell. On that thought, I raised my sword and pointed it at Leon. He looked just like a young Shizue. No pigmentation of any kind, his skin was tender and meticulous. His hair was smooth, every strand was glowing. It was no longer the appearance of an Asian person. While he kept Shizu's form, his beauty was on a different level. As his golden eyes gazed at Leon deeply, he opened his pink lips and said, "Not enough. Even though I've conveyed Shizu's feelings, my feud with you hasn't been resolved yet. About that, we are gonna have a nice chat about it now." While Rimuru said this, Leon immediately caught on to the meaning behind his words. I see, so he wants to utilize this situation. In other words, even though he doesn't know me too well, he decided to trust me, nonetheless. This guy is surprisingly bold. Leon didn't dislike it. Rimuru appeared to be doing things based on emotion, but in hindsight, all of those things must have been calculated. It was to differentiate who was friend and foe under these chaotic circumstances. I thought that I shouldn't lower my guard against this guy, but with everything that's going on, he turned out to be quite reliable. While thinking so, Leon drew the sword by his waist and assumed a combat stance. Earlier, aboard the dragon ship on his way to Luminous, Leon received an emergency message via magic communication from the secret organization Cerberus. The message stated that one of their intelligence personnel lost contact, likely due to his real identity being discovered by someone. This someone could be Demon Lord Rimuru or the 5 Great Elders. Fast forwarding to the present, Leon had finally calmed down as he drew his sword against Rimuru. He began to observe the surroundings and tried to get hold of the situation. The battlefield was in a shocking state of chaos. It was difficult to even tell friend from foe. Since no matter how you saw it, Leon's presence here made him seem like a troublemaker. To Demon Lord Luminous, Leon was definitely an unwanted guest. It wouldn't be strange if she retaliated against him. Under these circumstances, in order to ensure the situation favored his side, Leon wanted to lower the human casualties to the minimum. Speaking of which, where did that Luminous go? Near the entrance to the Grand Cathedral, Leon and Rimuru fought. Holy Knight Commander Hinata was dueling against Granbell not far from there. Behind them, Shion and Ranga, who both participated in the Walpurgis banquet, fought the insect-type monster, Razul. And Rimuru was trying to make use of that to control the situation. Right in front of Leon, Rimuru signaled his eyes to Granbell. I see, so that's the guy behind all this. Very well, I shall put my faith in you for once. It was truly rare for the usually cautious Leon, as he decided to open his heart and trust Rimuru. Leon was not the only one stuck in a state of confusion. Hinata was baffled by the continuously shifting circumstances as well. More importantly, Granbell, whom she was dueling, gave off an ominous aura. It was very eerie. Are you wondering why you can't rob any techniques from me? Being exposed so promptly, Hinata couldn't help but express her shock visibly. Don't be so surprised now. Do you really think I wouldn't discover your secret? I merely had to observe it to guess. That's why I had the other 6 fight you first. So that's why. Hinata's unique skill usurper had an absolute advantage against people stronger than her. Yet the analysis result of Granbell in the past was not applicable. By any logic, Granbell should have been stronger than her. That's why Hinata tried using usurper on him during their training sessions, until it returned successful in robbing skills from Granbell. She could not rob them completely, at most copying them. You can rob skills and arts from your opponent through some means, can't you? But you can only use that little trick on the same person once, and haven't you already tried robbing my skill before? That's why you won't be able to do it again. How can that be? Granbell's words were met with an involuntary response from Hinata. She quickly realized she had thought out loud. Kukuku, so that is the case. Hinata, you are the most talented disciple I've taught. You are good at scheming, cautious yet cunning. In the history of the Order, there were very few who have reached your level. You should be proud of that. Yet you are still too young, too amateur fighting against someone on your level. Don't you ever shut up. Hinata, seemingly impatient, shouted back at Granbell. Even while he was going all out against Hinata, Granbell kept on talking. That composure, that was what Hinata could not tolerate. Even if I've robbed your skill in the past, I still have other ways to do this. Don't you look down on me now. Hinata's hostility towards Granbell was on full display. At the same time, she consecutively activated Usurper to weaken Granbell's strength. However, how is this possible? My skill should be taking effect. Yet the analysis result was still not applicable. It meant that Granbell's strength was indeed weaker than Hinata's. However, it could prove to be useful if she managed to rob Granbell's ace in the hole. Why is this happening? Perhaps Granbell knew someone may try to rob his skills and had made copies beforehand. It was a possibility. While the average man wouldn't be able to handle it, Granbell was an ex-hero. A trick such as this wouldn't be a problem for him. What is it, Hinata? You don't look so good. Granbell gave off a mocking smile. It looked like he'd seen through Hinata's mind. That was the source of Hinata's irritation. Ha, based on your looks, you don't know what I've done. There's nothing more important in combat than to observe your enemy carefully. Could it be that you thought I wouldn't prepare any countermeasures? If I am right, then your thoughts were honestly too naive, Hinata. Tisk, you sure talk a lot of nonsense. I can tell from the way you fight. You are good at fighting against opponents stronger than you. In contrast, you seem to rarely rob skills from opponents weaker than you. But to have done that in the past, nonetheless, must imply you have some special means. However, doesn't it exhaust you quickly as well? You don't have to answer. Based on your current state, I can confirm my speculation. Hinata was shocked that she had been completely seen through. She always thought that Granbell was an old-timer and held a sense of disdain against him. Right now, she really wanted to punch her old self. Indeed. Looks like it's meaningless to continue like this. Activating her forced usurpation from here on would be pointless, she concluded, as she distanced herself from Granbell for a moment. She adjusted her breathing and took note of the beating in her chest. Her heart rate had reached record-breaking pace. Sweat was pouring down her forehead at an increasing rate. Thump, deep inside Hinata's chest, she felt a light sense of pain. What was that? No, it's probably because I burned more stamina than I expected to. But maybe it's not a calculation error, maybe it's the effect of some sort of attack. Looking at it objectively, she found that she was getting tired a lot faster than usual. Just as Granbell had pointed out, Hinata had exhausted herself to the point that she could no longer ignore it either. You look rather confused, Hinata. You are indeed strong. But against my more dishonorable way of fighting, you don't really have enough experience. What are you talking about? It's very simple. All of my moves were calculated so that it would waste as much of your stamina as possible. Little by little, you tired yourself out every time you thought your attack would pull through. If only you could muster that tiny bit of extra strength. Heed me now, if you are fighting against someone on your own level, you'd snatch a ticket to victory by tiring out your opponent. Once their judgment becomes dull, they will show bigger openings, just like what you are experiencing right now. Hinata could not deny Granbell's words even if she wanted to. She had analyzed her battle calmly with her unique skill mathematician, or so she thought. Yet Granbell was clearly 10 steps ahead of her. She had thought she was cautious enough against Granbell. While she had looked down on him in the past, she had never dropped her guard. By the looks of it, this man is stronger than me, is that it? Yes, that's it. I guess this is the resulting difference between technique and experience. That was the honest, logical explanation Hinata deduced. She couldn't help but admit. Her usurper was unable to rob combat experience. I understand the situation. I must really go all out in order to beat you then. Correct. Now show me what you're really capable of, or else you can keep dreaming about surpassing me. Shutting out all unnecessary noise, Hinata focused herself entirely on Granbell. In a world of silence, the two of them were isolated. Here I come, Elder Granbell. I shall dance with you then, Hinata. As it stood, the battle between Hinata and Granbell raged on, fiercer than ever before.